We pass me to pray. Papa God of heaven, this afternoon, we come before of it, you and we talk thank you. Acknowledging you as God, you creator, you source law or something. Papa God, we give him glory, na honor, glory you, Lord Slavino. Papa God, today I'm on the special day for PNC party convention now. I'm start today, na we talk thank you. Lord, you come from all districts and provinces throughout Papua New Guinea. We talk thank you. Lord, party, PNC party, all officials, all the organizers, where I walk about, Lord, come here, Lord, attend him the convention. Papa God, we talk thank you. Thank you, Lord. You bring all the delegates, party supporters, na ogra line where come Lord is the convention. Today too, me give special talk thank you, Lord, leader WME, Lord party, Honorable Peter O'Neill. Leading me black come this far, Lord, is the party. Now me talk thank you. May you continue, Lord, give him good health. Continue, Lord, bless him. Bless him, party. Thank you, Lord. All the members of PNC party today too, only come sit down the front. Maybe let's just talk thank you and praise him and give him glory and honor. We thank you for your grace and mercy. Papa God, Lord Slabinon, I'm important boom blow you me. So maybe asking you, God, you give me wisdom and understanding from heaven above, Lord. Guide me through Lord, all discussions we want to go through, Lord. 2 or 3 days one place stop Lord here, Lord. Papa, bless every discussion with Lord Okim. Lord, formulating policy, Lord, PNC party na PNG going forward. Maybe talk thank you. Maybe now invite you, Lord, stop namelo yumies, maybe go and a meeting. Thank you once again for your goodness. Thank you for bringing us safely today. Now we go and say, Lord, meeting now, so we open him this meeting on them is the word of prayer. In Jesus' mighty name, we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Honorable Member Benny Allen. Much words of wisdom and reverence. We will remain standing. We'll have the national anthem played. Oh, arise, all you sons of this land. Let us sing for our joy to be free. Praising Lord and rejoicing to be Papua New Guinea. Shout our names from the mountain to sea. Papua New Guinea. Let us raise our voices and proclaim Papua New Guinea. We'll just do one verse. Thank you very much. You may be seated. Welcome to PNC National Convention. We do this every 5 years. My name is Frank Makanui. I'm the General Secretary for the party. I've been in the job for 6 months, so it's my pleasure to stand here and introduce our speakers. For tonight, we will have the welcoming speech and then followed by the opening speech. So to get the ball rolling, we'll ask the Deputy Party Leader, Member for Esala, Honorable David Stevens, to come up and give us the welcoming speech.
Thank you, Frank. The Honorable Peter O'Neill, member for Yalibu Pangia, former Prime Minister of our country and the present leader of the People's National Congress. Esteemed leaders gathered here today, including the honorable members of Parliament representing our party, 17 strong, right here in front. Our party executives, ladies and gentlemen. It is with the greatest pleasure
and honor that I take the privilege on behalf of our party leader and the parliamentary caucus to welcome each and every one of us to the 2022 National Convention of our People's National Congress Party in this country. Our party leader will deliver our opening statement in a few seconds. But before that, let me take a few moments to thank you and to express why we appreciate this gathering and your willingness and your commitment to be here today. We see delegation of leaders from throughout our country, all of our country today, honoring this commitment. And we feel the atmosphere out there. We feel it in the air, we feel it in the faces of our people, in the social and mainstream media, that the nation is anxious, the nation is willing, and the nation is waiting for a leadership to take this country beyond 2022 national elections. So for us, this is a momentous occasion. It is a very significant conference. The 2022 People's National Congress Convention gives us the opportunity to review our party position on policy framework, on the legislative arrangements, and important governance issues and issues that affect our people. So this convention brings us together to discuss and to finalize our position as a party on the message that we take to the 2022 national elections and beyond. Let me say on behalf of the hardworking 17 members of parliament that this convention represents an exciting opportunity to see the interaction that will take place. Because for us, this has been a journey that has been refreshing and exciting. To be able to look at the party position on policy across the sectors, and also to be able to look back and assess how we have operated, how we have managed government, and the opportunity now to put together a revised position that we want to test, we want to bring to this August forum for endorsement. So that's the first aim of this convention, if I may put it, amongst many other important aims, that our message to our nation is clear, precise, simple, and ready to be taken and delivered. The second aim, of course, is that at the end of this party, at this convention, the nation will know the team of men and women who will take up the leadership challenge, both at the elections and beyond the elections, and with the mandate of our people. Team PNC, in 2022 national elections, Team PNC, beyond 2025, when the nation reaches its 50th anniversary as a country, and beyond. So we look forward to the outcomes of this Congress. We look forward to your interactions. We look forward to the discussions. We are not a party that wants to play the blame game. We're not a party that wants to keep looking backwards. We want to be a party that is forward-looking, inclusive, and addressing the real issues that affect our people. I want to say that it is our intention and indeed our hope that our Congress will be productive and meaningful. We need not look beyond the current living crisis, cost of living crisis, to remind ourselves that we meet at a very critical time in our nation's progress and advancement, in our nation's history. For those of us who have traveled from far and wide, we know just the cost of travel, the expense itself, almost renders travel incapable in this country today. But let's not forget the suffering and the pain that the households in our country faces, our people throughout this country. And so you will see in the program a very specific effort in this Congress to start with the key issue of managing an economy, rewriting the economy, inspiring the economy to be green, to be sustainable, to be forward-looking and inclusive. This is why you will see that the intention and the invitation is for us now to think outside the box. As I said, PNC believes that our record speaks for itself. We are a party that has been in government before. We're a party that knows the importance of relevant policy and the importance of a legislative program that is consistent with our Constitution and consistent with policy. We are a party that knows that we must be responsible in how we manage the affairs of our nation. I need not lose time on the subject of how we are known. Why PNC? Who is PNC? Where is PNC? Because that answer is with us all. One just needs to look around to get the answer. Yes, they remember us as a party that brings economic stability and knows how to manage economy. Yes, they may talk about debts, but we know how to spend that money. So they remember us as a government that can deliver much needed infrastructure when we need it. When the nation needs it, PNC has responded. But we are also known for the social sector drive and emphasis in education, in health, in inclusiveness of the next generation, in the care that we give for the marginalized. You look at the policy framework, you look at the outcomes of work we have done. And little do they mention that it was the PNC government that initiated and moved the Bougainville peace movement to where it was. In the area of decentralization, we championed the reform and the drive to better emphasize and give meaning to decentralization where we can empower lower governments all the way. Today, many talk about DSIP, and they forget to give credit where it's due. But we are not a government, we are not a party that wants glory. We are a party that remembers that our people need real action and serious action and practical work to get the simple things right. And so I need not remind us today that when people talk about corruption, they forget that it is the PNC government, PNC-led government, that made the necessary alterations to the Constitution and eventually pushed through the much-needed ICAC. And that should be good news, because those are the emphasis that we want to bring to this convention. To be able to say, yes, we've been there. But our time and our opportunity in the opposition, as the major opposition party, has given us the opportunity to sit back and to reflect and to rethink, to repent, and to say, yes, we can. One more time, we can. With the support and the mandate, we can. So yes, I want to emphasize, above all, as I closed in this welcome speech, that PNC has a vision. We do have a vision. And that vision has been tested. That vision has been tested when we were given the mandate to lead government. That vision has been tested when in 2012 national elections, our leader took us to the national elections and we won the mandate of our people. That vision has been tested in the furnace of affliction and oppression as we sat in the opposition benches and felt the reality of being in opposition and watching how government operated many of the policies which we initiated. We have a vision and we have a testimony. Today we want to say in this welcoming occasion and speech that we have a plan that we want to put to this caucus. Most importantly, we have a team. I should like to think that at the end of this Congress, we will have a team, we'll have a message, and the content that our people are willing and waiting to hear from us. We are led by a visionary leader. We are led by a very courageous leader. We are led by a very humble leader. Many of us today are here because we ascribe to those values and qualities. We know that a nation is as good as its leaders. And so PNC, People's National Congress, is as good, as strong as its leader. Today, I believe that I speak on behalf of the 16 leaders who have fearlessly and courageously sat in the opposition ranks, that we are proud to be led by the Honorable, the member for Yalibu Pangia, our former Prime Minister. We are encouraged by his passion, and what you see today, this wonderful convention, is the result of a renewed vigor and a renewed vision and energy to take PNC to the polls, to the people where it matters, not to the social media, beyond the social media, beyond mainstream media, beyond cheap accusation and personal politics and blame politics, to take PNC back to where it belongs, the people, our people throughout this nation. Please, ladies and gentlemen, I want to make way to our leader to speak to us. But let me close by once again welcoming each and every one of us. I want you to all feel part of this family. I want you all to feel that you are part of this vision and this great journey in a PNC that is led by this team to the 2022 national elections and beyond. May God bless us. Thank you.
One more round of applause. Thank you, Honorable David Stevens, for your welcoming speech. It has put us at ease, and now we are relaxed. We can talk some more. I'm going to introduce the former Prime Minister and member for Yalibu Pangia, but first let me give you some opening words. This man was called many names. He was accused of many things. And he resigned honorably to let another government take place. And for 3 years, he's been doing self-reflections. He's been thinking and reassessing himself. And he's been talking to all his 17 members. They've been meeting. I've been part of those meetings. We've been talking and talking and thinking and thinking. So let me now introduce the former Prime Minister and member for Yalibu Pangia to talk to you about what he thinks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Drew. Please be seated. Please. Abinon Drew lo imiogata. Thank you, Drew. Thank you very much, lo. Thank you, lo. You blogata come na join me lo here lo today. I know many of you have traveled far and wide. Today's session is a very short session, but firstly, let me thank our Deputy Leader, the Honorable David Stevens, member for Esala. Thank you very much for the opening welcome. And let me just introduce all our members who are here with us today, so that at least many of our supporters and friends and candidates and those who are on media live stream now will also appreciate the men who have sacrificed a lot, who stood with integrity and loyalty to provide a stable opposition with the opposition leader, the Honorable Bilden Nama, and of course Deputy Opposition Leader, the Honorable Alan Marat, to provide a very constructive and able opposition to the government over the last 3 years. Let me start off by introducing the Honorable Member for Kabum, Patrick Bassa, who is with us here today. The Honorable Member for Enganofi, our senior, former Premier of Eastern Islands, Mr. Robert Atiafa, Honorable Robert Atiafa. Our member for Mbuti Drekikia, Honorable Johnson Wapunai. And of course, our friend and our member, former member for Kandep, an incoming member for Kandep, please, Alfred Manasseh. And our good friend and second-term member of the lovely islands of love, the island of Kerowina, good enough, the Honorable Douglas Tumerese. Yeah. One of our most senior members of parliament, the Honorable Governor for East New Britain, Honorable Nakekus Konga. Our young member for Koroba Kopiago, the Honorable Flying Petrus Thomas, who's doing his second term as Member of Parliament. One of the most senior members of Parliament, a fourth termer now, who's been with me since 2002, the Honorable Benny Allen, Member for Ungai Bena. And of course, our Deputy Leader, we introduced already, but please, again, Deputy Leader, Honorable David Stephen, Member for Sala. The Honorable Koi Trape, who's the Member for Mulbaya, who's doing his second term. Thank you very much, one of our senior and most successful Papua New Guineans. The Honorable Elias Kapavore, hard-working health sector leader, member for Pomio. Thank you very much. Of course, our next treasurer to be, the Honorable Joseph Lenlang, member for Kedren Gloucester. And our member for Obura Waninara, Honorable Mera Kipefa, who is one of our young talented members of parliament doing his second term. The last but not least is the Honorable Member for Nipa Kotubu and my brother, the Honorable Jeffrey Kobal, former Deputy Speaker. And of course, we are missing two of our members. One is Felicik, the Honorable Governor for Milne Bay Province, the Honorable Sir John Luke Critton, and a member for Karawagi, who is on his way, still up in Karawagi at the moment. But those are our leaders who have made us proud. Thank you very much for joining us here today. Secretary General and the party executives, all our delegates, supporters, and fellow citizens, thank you very much for this opportunity to welcome you to our 6th PNC Party National Convention and Congress since our establishment in 1996, some 26 years ago. So 26 years ago, PNC was formed here in Port Moresby by our late founder, the Honorable Bill Skate. I also celebrate this year 20 years as party leader. I took over the leadership in 2002, so it's a long time ago. So thank you. But since, of course, that 2002 team, two of us are left. It's the Honorable Benny Allen and myself. But today we gather here as we are approaching the 50th anniversary of our independence as a nation, coming in 2025. We, a nation of 10 million people, we need to ask ourselves, after close to 50 years, if we achieve the development agenda and the dreams that our founding fathers set for us in 1975? Well, let me tell you that the answer is around us every day, around us every day. We see the decline of our society, law and order collapsing. Our education system now pushing a lot of our kids onto the streets. Our health system cannot even afford to supply medicine to the sick. And our infrastructure in the country cannot even cater for a very fast-growing population in the country, now close to 10 million people. So for us, we gather here today trying to set the policy direction and the plan that we will take to the elections that is going to try and meet some of these challenges we have. So for the last 3.5 years, especially in our country, over the last 3.5 years, our country feels like we are in a trap. We are held back, we are confused. We are confused by a corrupt government and a very incompetent government. That is precisely what's happening. We are frustrated. We are frustrated by the decline of our economy. We had one of the fastest growing economies in Asia up to 2019. Since 2002, when Somare was Prime Minister, till 2019, when we left office, our country was the envy of the region, the Asia-Pacific region. But unfortunately, this economy has been mismanaged. It has been disabled by unprecedented levels of loans and gross overspending by our government. And finally, we are looking out for handouts continuously. We are asking our neighbors to fund our wages. We are asking our neighbors to fund our elections, fund our infrastructure, fund our medicine, fund our school fees. Now, we are becoming, looks like as we are a nation of beggars. But we are more than that. You and I know that. I'm a proud Papua New Guinean. I grew up in a village. I grew up in a tribe. I know where I belong. And, you know, these kind of things impact greatly into our families on a day-to-day basis. It has devastated many Papua New Guineans who have lost their jobs in thousands right across the country as we speak because of poor decisions by our government. Daily cost of living, when you go to the stores, daily cost of living continues to go up. There are no checks and balances. Firstly, they blame Peter O'Neill. Now they blame COVID. Today they blame Putin. And of course, yesterday they blamed United Nations. So who are they going to blame next? So these skyrocketing prices are affecting our people. They are becoming and struggling every single day. So immature decisions, like the shutting down of Porgera mine, just because of ego and pride, pretending that you know things when you don't know anything. You know. Has had a profound impact on our economy. We are losing over 100+ million kina a month as revenue to the nation. That is on top of the thousands, over 5,000 direct jobs plus that we have lost. The SMEs that are no longer doing business and they are closed. And the workers especially who are now have no income. And these are very professional, hard-working Papua New Guineans. And today, we have a government that is continuously spending more than what we are earning. The gap between the expenditure and the revenue is getting wider. This is because we are faced with constant corruption. very smartly done, especially in the procurement system, as I speak today, where massive contracts into millions of kina are awarded to cronies and one-talks and their own companies under disguise of the pandemic. They are not using the National Procurement Act, but they're using the Pandemic Act to award these contracts. What has all these road constructions got to do with COVID? Nothing, zero. It is simply hiding behind it to corrupt the system and fund people. And today they are given hundreds and millions of kina without proper tendering. I give you an example. Only yesterday they went to Erave and they gave another 100 plus 120 million kina contract to a company. I have no issue about our company is getting contracts, but it must be done properly. And this is something that our country can ill afford. Apart from those contracts, we are having to worry about water and power as we speak today, the constant blackouts. We were able to bring up to 90% reliability of power in this country when we were in government. 90% reliability. But now it's gone back to the good old days, where we are enjoying the constant blackouts. This is because of a very competent government that we have in place. But we continue to pay some of the highest rates for water, highest rates for power anywhere in the world. That's why we are the richest country in the world today, because we are able to afford these things. And our health indicators are amongst the worst in the world, health and education indicators. Any leader who has held government positions, minister, or even deputy prime minister or prime minister who goes to New York for the United Nations will tell you that Papua New Guinea is one of the worst places where we are not even meeting the global targets on sustainable development goals that United Nations sets for every country in the world. It is because our government continues to be in a blame game, but not taking ownership of issues that we are facing in this country. And I'll give you an example. When we introduced the free education, the education of our young girls were one of the lowest in the Pacific. But for 8 years, we were able to lift the number of girls going to school to almost 50% of the kids who were attending schools. Close to over 2.1 or 2.2 million kids were attending schools because we were paying school fees for parents. Sadly, today, we've got less than 1 million kids going to school because our current government saw fit to cancel the free education policy so that people can pay their own school fees and our tertiary students can get a loan, which they are not ever going to be able to repay in their life, but into this loan trap that our government has created for them. So we can see now why many of our children are out of the education system. So we ask ourselves, why is our law and order out of control? It is basically because many of our kids have got nothing to do. They run around in groups, just looking for opportunities like everyone else. But when the opportunities are not there, they take things into their own hands. And of course, with law and order out of control now, we can see we have become one of the murder capitals in the Pacific because of the daily killings that are taking place across our country. Not only in places like Tari and Medan, but across the country. Because nobody is being held accountable. The murderers are running around free. And people are smuggling guns and peddling guns to their supporters under the disguise of buying it for the police. We leaders are not gun buyers. We shouldn't be buying gun for the police. Let the police handle it themselves. But under this disguise, we are certainly encouraging the law and order issues in the country to get out of hand. These are some of the things that we will be discussing over the next 2 days. We have set out an agenda for you, which we believe that we want to make sure that you are open to this discussion so we can find a plan and a vision that you can take ownership of. You can take ownership of. We have a government that is now virtually deaf and blind. When you have law and order issues, and instead of the Prime Minister being in Tari, he's traveling somewhere playing golf when people are dying. When you have kids staying out of schools and are not able to afford schools, you have not even one single statement from the Minister for Education. On whose behalf are these people running the country? If it is for you and I and our people out there, they should be responsive to these issues. Our public service is now so politically corrupted that people who are running the public service have become clerks of the politicians. They are following the leaders around and not focusing on the work that they are paid to do by you and I as taxpayers. That is why our public service machinery has collapsed in the country. It has been undermined by leaders, and as a result, there is no delivery. Similarly, the political structure. Our constitution is one of the finest in the world. The only people who are abusing the constitution are the leaders. The leaders are the ones who are abusing it for purposes not because they're greedy for power, no vision. And we have to find a way to stabilize politics. We have seen the outcome of the current political system in the last 50 years or 47 years. Instability causes problems for the nation. As a result, the nation is not moving forward. It's not developing. Because you have changes in government where it is against the people's mandate. People who are now running the government have not gone to the elections and told the people, this is my vision, this is my plan for the nation. They've been doing deals in Waigani to get into government. That's what has happened. And protecting each other on some of the things that they get up to. So when they gang up, we all suffer. And that is what's happening in our country. We need to work towards a situation where we can address this political instability that is happening so that we can be able to have a stability that's going to bring us forward in the next 50 years. As a party, we need to put this question to our nation, our people, to ask ourselves, the current system of government and the political structure and the public service, is it delivered for us? I think the answer you will get from almost 80 or 90% of our population is that no, it has not delivered. As a responsible government after the 2022 election, we need to review it. We need to take a question to the people. Even if it means having a referendum for the entire nation, we have to. We have to ask that so that we can be able to catch up with the rest of the world. We are falling way behind. We are falling way behind in every aspect, every sector. Our economy is not functioning. Our health system's collapsing. Our health system's even non-existent. So that is why in this convention and the Congress meeting that we are going to have over the next 2 days, we all must press a reset button. We must press a reset button with our people and pledge to our people that over the next 5 years, we will do something for them. One of the first things is our party is committed to providing and making sure we build confidence in the business community and the private sector so we can provide employment for our people. Employment for our people. And one of the declarations and pledges that we want to do is we want to say we want to produce 500,000 jobs over the next 5 years. Over the next 5 years. We have to set these kind of targets, which you might think it's impossible. But it is not impossible. Today we have less than 250,000 people paying taxes that is funding all of us trying to run the country. Probably less than 300 businesses in the country who are paying tax. The rest of the businesses are not. So we need to create jobs and put money into the people's pocket so they can look after their families. Our people are not lazy. Our people are proud people. They want to look after their family. They want to look after their community. We must restore their confidence, our people's confidence first, and the confidence of the business community, so that they can invest more in our country. We need to fast-track projects like Pogra. You know, we've had so many dates. It'll open tomorrow. It'll open next day. Well, I can tell you it won't open this year. It won't open this year. You know, even the current government paying inducements to the landowners to sign the agreements. They've paid, I think, over 40 million, 20 million kina to Enga provincial government and 20 million kina to the Pogra landowners. I'm not saying they don't deserve it, but where is the revenue to pay for that? They are writing checks at the expense of a lot of us. Expense of education, expense of health, expense of road infrastructure and bridges. Get the mine started and then you can pay them. Nothing wrong with that. But you know, our thinking is upside down, back to front. So we need to fast-track projects like Wafi Golpu, Pogra, Papua LNG, Piniang, Pasca. These jobs, this will create over 50,000 jobs. Proud Papua New Guineans working for our country, building these businesses so that they can pay tax. We need to, at the same time, put more money into people's pocket. Our commitment in PNC is we want to make sure that we reduce the personal tax for families and Papua New Guineans. Our incoming treasurer will tell you tomorrow. He will run you through our economics tomorrow. And he will tell you that we will increase the level of people who are at the salary level where they will not pay any tax for Papua New Guineans. That way more money can be in people's pockets so they can feed their family. They can feed their family. We also will reduce the company corporate tax so that we can be able to encourage companies to invest. If companies do not invest like they have done over the last 3 years, the last 3 years there have been zero foreign direct investment. Zero. For a country like Papua New Guinea, when you have zero foreign direct investment, that means zero jobs. So, no, let's think. Our people have to eat every day. Our children have to be fed. Our sick mothers and fathers need to be taken to the hospital. And these things cost money. People need to work. That is why we need to stimulate the economy. Stimulate the economy. And many of you know that PNC is renowned for infrastructure. The infrastructure we've built, people told us that we are wasting money and doing this. But every one of us are enjoying it. We've built roads, we've built airports, we've built hospitals, we've built schools. We've built wharves and ports and jetties, bridges right across the country. This is serving our people. And one of the reasons the current government said they were replacing me is because we were borrowing too much money. But I can bet you PNC can name every borrowing that they've made, loan that they've made to a project that we have delivered, not talked but delivered around the country. So our commitment is to spend at least 1 billion kina. 1 billion kina over the next 5 years each so that we can rebuild infrastructure in health and education. Don't think that 1 billion kina is not possible. It is possible. I have run an economy before. I have run a country before. I'm telling you it's possible. We need to light up Papua New Guinea. Energy and power is one of the biggest drivers of our economy and our industries. Today, constant blackouts, nobody can plan, nobody can work. Our people have no electricity. And this incompetent government cannot even get started when there's free money. When we had APEC here, people told everyone that it was waste of money. Well, they gave us 1.6 billion US dollars. In today's exchange rate, that's 5.6 billion kina. If you change that money to today, that's 5.6 billion kina. With that kind of money, you cannot light up Papua New Guinea. Why are they struggling? This is not a loan, it's a grant. The money is there, do the job. But instead, they are given contracts to pull him legally power line one time, one talk. Na isa, come on. We need to step up. We need to step up. We need to have access to that money. As soon as we get in government, we will start lighting up Papua New Guinea. We will start lighting up Papua New Guinea. By 2030, our aim with our partners, Japan, Australia, United States, New Zealand, who are going to give that us free money. We want to light up PNG by 2030. But we want to do it sooner. We want to do it sooner. Our people cannot afford to wait. We need to restart our public economic infrastructure investment. We have started rebuilding most of the highways in the country. PNC has sealed Bulumski Highway, all the way from 300 kilometers from KVN to Namatanai. We have started cementing the Lay City, the portal city capital of PNG, but we have now cement capital. We've done the 4-lane, started the 4-lane all the way to Najab. We've rebuilt the wharf there. We are going to build all these cities so that they become a center for trade. The industrial hub that we've been talking about in Lay City is a dream that we have to realize. When we talk about tourism, we have to rebuild Kokopo. Not rebuilding tourism everywhere, but we all can feed off the Kokopo hub. We must create a hub. We have to make sure these are areas where potentially you will have thousands and thousands of jobs. When we are looking for work, it's there, but we are not organizing ourselves. And I think when we work together, we will achieve this. One of the key areas that we will move into is making sure that every year we put 500 million kina, and we will set up our new PNGBC, a SME bank for PNG. We will convert the National Development Bank by 1st of January 2023. That bank needs to operate or people will have no jobs. We need to get a retail license. We don't like our Papua New Guineans going there lining up at banks. We don't like to have questions asked, where is your ID? Maybe sampla come up a place, maybe no got ID. But my council knows who I am. My pastor knows who I am. So, maybe, some visitor where we are looking for identity. We need our own bank which will appreciate who we are and make sure that we lend to SMEs, we lend to agriculture, and we lend to a public housing program. Public housing program. I think these kind of initiatives are going to create thousands, if not millions of jobs. Like the mega projects we talked about in tourism, fisheries, manufacturing hub in Leh, where we have been always talking industrial city of our country. These are mega projects that government need to invest. And we have invested in similar projects before. I have started up 200 million kina a year housing projects with BSP. Today, Papua New Guineans are enjoying that. They're borrowing money for 4% at 40-year loans, affordable housing loans, which they can repay so that their family have a roof over their head. And I think we can do it. I want to assure you that it's possible. So, Papua New Guinea government put in funding into mega projects like that, industrial hub, manufacturing, tourism, fisheries, agriculture. This is where we are committed to put in more money into it. But there's like money where you go to planning department, the finance, where you check nothing. This is a waste. And they get all this money and go and buy Nubla car, Nubla house, can something. They're not doing the business that they're supposed to do. So we will create our bank and divert all this money there. You go and borrow it at very low interest rate, 3-4%, over 20, 30 years, 40 years. If Japan can give someone 100-year loan, why not us? If Japan can give 100-year loan of less than 2% to their citizens, why not us? Because they know we can pass it on to the next generation. And me blow got a you miss a car and picking in here. Boy, look away. They're gonna inherit my house. They're gonna inherit my small business. They're gonna inherit my position. So why not build it something for them? Borrow to build for them. So I think it is important that we create those initiatives. And one of the main issues that our incoming treasurer will talk about is about this loan issue in the country. Yes, plenty line talk with O'Neill government, government blend work borrowing money. Yes, we are not hiding that fact. But we borrowed money for infrastructure. The difference between our borrowing and their borrowing is that they are borrowing money to consume. Blockade tasol, buy and build. Not building one plus something inside our country. And this is dangerous when you borrow to just kaketaso. Very dangerous because you are not using the infrastructure to generate revenue that will repay the loan. So today, when we left government, we left with 27.6 billion kina loan in 2019. 27.6 billion. Loan blow somare na line papa blumi lo 1975 ika minap lo loan blumi totally mogata 27.6 billion. But Olapunia want to Mipla and identify where Mipla invest in this 27 billion. Now today our loan is close to 60 billion in 3 years. 60 billion kina. I'm displaying a politics to talk. All you have to do is go to website lo IMF na World Bank. Na only but talks about report also working block country every year. There's a report is so Muslim, there's a kind of loan is stop. And they can't explain. Only talk also or like fighting COVID na borrowing this money. But they can't explain even to IMF and World Bank about those loans, where they spend the money. So we are in serious trouble. And tomorrow our incoming treasurer will guide you through and show you where we are. That's why we as a party need to make a firm commitment that now there's 60 billion loan, we must carry come back. And the only way to do that is to grow the economy. We must grow the economy so that the economy has got enough to afford to repay these loans. And that means investing in private sector, investing in our people, education and health. Productive, educated people is the way forward for a growing economy. So one of the first things we will do is we will commit to bring back that debt to GDP. We will measure in debt 35%. But only now up in Migolo close to 60%. Very irresponsible. Very irresponsible. We need to, of course, one of our first things is, as our deputy leader stated, is about having the confidence of our people and making our communities safer. One plus something, moka the gaman totop lolman, wokim na oli sensim gaman bloyumi. Kigaman totop lolman. Today they can't prove anything. So what we will do when we come, we will be the first check that we will write, it will be for ICAC. 50 million kina. So oli kan glasim himi okata. No got wrong lodesla. Why would we be afraid of it? So mipla kan glasim moldesla angel nambaut ya. So you may look in bola. So you may look so well work in this work. And of course we must put these killings that are taking place in our country to an end. We have to fund it. Now we will commit to at least funding 25 to 30 million kina, so you may gonna address it once and for all. Right now people are running around thinking they can get away with anything. And that's because leaders are protecting them. Some of our leaders are protecting them, hiding behind Christianity, hiding behind kan geman kusa tok tok. Mipla sawe hudeya. So Papua New Guinea has to show the world that we are betua, we are able to lead our country, we are not beggars, that we can be able to put our country back on the reset button and move forward. And I think we have the opportunity to do that. So I know, by concluding, let me say this. We have deliberately put these discussion papers together for you. Because all this brother Blumi, 17 Blumi staff. And I pay my respects to our late Semakotai, one of our fathers of our country. And one blaman plan de Blumi our Lustintin also one blay hero blow country Blumi. Time blow Bougainville crisis, Sanab one time Yumi, maintaining stability blow country. He fought against his own people, so he's a hero to this nation. Hero to this nation. He is one of those people who also speaks very strongly about our resources, protecting the resource development, and we value his commitment. And in appreciation of his contribution, we believe that Papua New Guineans in any resource development, we must benefit more than 51% in our own country. All our benefits. No project will go ahead if we are not able to take 51% of the income that is going to come from that project. So I think we have a strong challenge ahead of us. It is not going to be easy. Next 5 years is going to be challenging. But we will have to now go from a planning that is bottom-up. We'll have to start from the ward level. We are going to directly fund every ward in the country. Our government has funded LLGs before, but we will fund every ward in the country, direct funding from national government to the wards. We will fund direct funding to the LLGs in the country. We will fund directly LLGs because these governments and these people are closest to our people. In Wageni, we don't know the problems on the ground for every village, every ward. So we need to give them adequate funding to run the elementary school, run the head post so that medicines are there, pay their teachers, pay their nurses, making sure that we have a village constable in every ward in the country to maintain law and order. Village constable. You may got magistrate pennies and put all these people, councillors, village constables, magistrate, everybody on a payroll so they are earning the income to do their job. And of course, through the restructuring, we have to look at our provincial government and the national government. What sort of government do we want for the future? This provincial government system is not working. National government and provincial government are fighting all the time. Are territorial in their behavior and they forget about the people. Ole tintin lo position na work blow na lose tintin lo man meri lo place. So we need to work a new structure that is going to make sure that we mandate 1 or 2 people that are going to be accountable directly to the people. So we are not passing the buck. We take ownership of issues in the country, and then we plan and make sure that it is delivering to the expectations of our people. We have to ease the hardship that our people are going through every day, the challenges that our people face. And most of the challenges that our people face, I want to tell you that it ends up with us. You mean your leader, plan the heavy blow line, blow me place, I come blow imit us all. Time blow compensation, time blow house cry, time blow crossfight lo place. And you miss our karam. So we have to make sure that we empower them to look after their own problems. Give them an income stream. And that is our plan we need to develop over the next 2 days. After the 2 days, we will go out and campaign together as a commitment and the pledges that we are making to the nation. We don't want a party that has got each individual candidate or member having their own policies. We are not going to develop plans and policies on the run. That's what's been happening with the government that we have today. Because only government by fluke or election government no got tintin stop. No got tintin stop. Also na sambla decision only work lo work him. Only work lo fight go come, yeah. Only work lo bump go come. But we have an opportunity in the coming elections, and I know many of you know, the country is waiting for PNC. Country is waiting for PNC. Mibla, man blow talk, but I want to conclude by saying this. Just 2 small stories. One, you think about why did we choose this word, fight for PNG? You know, many countries around the world, they fight for their identity. You look at what they're fighting in Ukraine and Russia and everywhere else, Syria or Iraq or everywhere. They fight for their land, they fight for their community, they fight for their country. But we take it for granted, you know. People think something and miss it as well. Well, I can tell you that being alive and living is not easy. We all know that. It is a challenge to provide for others and your family. And today, when we have this misery of economic decline, collapse in our education system, our kids on the streets, our healthcare system non-existent, we need to fight for our country. We need to fight for our community. And when I was developing this thought and with a few members, we ran into, many of you might recall, late boxer, Benny, Martin Benny from Karioko. You know, when some of us were young, he was fighting, and I can tell you, I think there were, at that time, population was 5 or 6 million of us. Those days, you remember how proud we were of him. The way he fought for us. This young chap from a village was able to take anybody in this world. And when you see the PNC logo, you look at one man standing out there. It reminded me of him with his big afro. So if people like them can be an example, you know, people like him who can achieve the world's best, we all are capable. Our country is capable. We live in a great country. We have to have confidence in ourselves that we are able to deliver. And if every one of us do our part, this is going to be a great country, the best country in the world. And I think, you know, when we fight for something, we will achieve that. And I grew up in a village. You know, many of you, I don't particularly talk about my private life, and I don't want that to be a political point that I want to take advantage of. But I grew up in a village, like every one of you here. You know, I struggled to survive. My mother had to beg to pay for my school fees. I didn't have much clothes. I walked barefoot till I was 16 years old. So I know the challenges that we have in our communities. Many of the policies that we frame here is because of our collective experience. We are a first generation of Papua New Guineans. We are a first generation of Papua New Guineans. We need to build a future for our children. Our children may not experience the life that we have experienced, walking long distances to go to school, not much to eat, no money. Those are things that give us the strength to us. And I know that Papua New Guinea deserves to be on the right path to development and growth, a sustainable development and prosperity that we all deserve. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. I joined you to, over the next few days, to discuss all this policy. Please feel free to make any intervention you want on each of the subjects that we have. None of us here have got all the answers, but we need all the smart ideas, and collectively we can put on a plan for our country that is going to return us to a path of growth that we truly want. That is why we are here. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will look forward to being with you tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning, which is the first session, and our incoming treasurer, one of our smartest Papua New Guineans in our country, will lead us through some of the data in our country. So let us conclude here, and let me thank each and every one of you, and let me say, may God bless you, and may God bless our lovely country, Papua New Guinea. Thank you very much. Thank you. We are a nation of diversity.
that is rich and amazing. And we are a united nation. As a country, we have brought together our diversity to create modern Papua New Guinea. Today we look back with pride on what we have achieved together. And we can certainly look forward with confidence for a better future for our children.
We don't leave no child behind.
We hand you out free education.
We give you development.
Infrastructure in all the regions.
Healthcare is our concern.
We deliver not talk about it for our nation. PNC party stepping up for our nation.
We are PNC. We fight for PNG. We are PNC.
PNC party.
We fight for a better PNG. No mountain go long now, miss. You make up son up one time.
Together, work must go yet.
We work for PNG.
We are PNC. PNC party. We're fighting for a better PNG. No mountain go long now, miss. You become son up one time. Together, work must go yet. We work for PNG.
We are PNC. We fight for PNG.
Written in our constitution, declare our own independence. It's on the tongue of every citizen, and of our hoping for the future. Wanna be free, wanna work for our own living, provide for our families. It's time we stand for PNG.
We are PNC. We fight for PNG. We are PNC.
PNC party.
We're fighting for a better PNG. No mountain go long now, miss. You become son up one time.
Together, work must go yet.
We work for PNG.
We are PNC. PNC party. We're fighting for a better PNG. No mountain go long now, miss. You become son up one time. Together, work must go yet. We work for PNG. We are
PNC.
PNC party.
Fight for PNG. We are PNC. We fight for PNG.
I give you our commitment, your leaders of this country, that you can be confident that we will work each day. We will work every day to ensure that we will achieve the dreams we all share for our children and for our country.